Okay, y'all. I know y'all seen Deontay Wilder on that new reality show, The Traders, I think it's called. I know y'all seen him wearing that long robe, looking like a emo vampire, like a character out of Castlevania or something like that. It's wild to see, you know, just from where he was a few years ago to where he is now, having just lost to Joseph Parker, having lost the opportunity to fight Anthony Joshua, the opportunity to fight Ngannou. Now he's competing for a $250,000 payday, and he's crying on camera about God knows what. I think that's the CTE kicking in. Okay, I'm sounding a little harsh on Deontay Wilder right now, but I do believe it is well deserved. I want to get into why I feel that Deontay Wilder is the most shameful American heavyweight champion ever. For most of his career, I'd say 90%, he's faced nothing but bums. Let's start there. Let's start right there. He's faced nothing but bums up until maybe when he fought Bermane Stiverne, who I consider to still be a decent heavyweight fighter. Well, not anymore. I don't even think he's active anymore. But the first fight, it was a really good fight. They went on 12 rounds, and Deontay Wilder got the victory. You know, kudos to him for getting that victory against Stiverne. But when you think about the rematch that they had, I don't even think the rematch should have happened to begin with, because Bermane Stiverne was stepping in for Luis Ortiz, who had failed a drug test. So he was just a fill-in anyway. And he signed the contract, I think, about 2 or 3 weeks before the fight happened. They signed it on October 17th, and then they fought on November 4th of that year. So, of course, Deontay Wilder went in there and put that power on him, which you can't take away from him. You can't take away that nuclear right hand he has. But in this case, you can, because Stiverne was out of shape compared to how he looked in the first fight to how he looked in the second fight. Had a big belly on him. Literally got up off the couch to fight Deontay Wilder, and was completely unfair. Just completely unfair. And he might as well have been paid to take a fall. That's the way I see that. Mind you, Deontay Wilder was 32 years old when he fought Bermane Stiverne in the rematch, and Bermane Stiverne was 39 years old. So big age gap right there, big gap of activity right there. And the age thing is going to come back into play when I talk about Luis Ortiz. Luis Ortiz was probably the best opponent besides Tyson Fury and Joseph Parker for Deontay Wilder. And the first fight and the second fight, those two fights were Deontay Wilder's most notable and highly touted wins in my book, because of who Luis Ortiz was, a very, very solid heavyweight fighter. By the time they met each other, Luis Ortiz was already old. He was already 39 in their first fight, and I believe he was 40 years old in the rematch. So, you know, Deontay Wilder was taking advantage of bums and older guys that were on their way out. Now, once again, I do give him credit for knocking him out in the first fight in the 10th round. And I do give him credit for knocking him out in the second fight in the 7th round. But other than that, Luis Ortiz was shot, old, and just was out of his prime. This man, Deontay Wilder, had 5 different excuses for the first Tyson Fury fight and the second Tyson Fury fight, where he drew in the first fight, he got a draw, and he got TKO'd in the second fight. For the first fight, he said that Tyson Fury got a extended count, an extended 10 count, when he got dropped in the 12th round. If Deontay Wilder was the one that got dropped, that extended 10 count would have been for him as well. So that's just a terrible excuse. You got a draw. That was the best you ever did against Fury. Now let's talk about the rematch. The rematch, Deontay Wilder had so many excuses. First, he tried to say that Mark Breland was disloyal and was a spy for throwing in the white flag when Deontay Wilder when he got TKO'd, technically got TKO'd. Whether Mark Breland threw in the white flag or not, the ref was going to stop the fight. And Deontay Wilder should be nothing but grateful that Mark Breland stopped that fight. Because if Mark Breland didn't stop that fight, Deontay Wilder probably wouldn't be here today. He probably wouldn't have even made it to the third fight with Tyson Fury. So Completely disgraceful what he did to Mark Breland, who is a decorated Olympic champion and a decorated professional champion, considered one of the greatest amateur heavyweights ever. And the second excuse that Deontay Wilder had was the suit. I guess he wore some like Dragon Ball Z looking suit before he walked into the ring. And he said that the suit weighed like 45 pounds and it weighed him out and it got him tired out before he even stepped into the ring. Now, let's break that down. That's a terrible excuse as well, because Deontay Wilder has been on record saying that he trains with a weighted vest. So how did that suit bring you down if you're already used to training with a weighted vest? And on top of that, the people that made the suit actually called him out on his BS and said that the suit was not 45 pounds. Said the suit was like 26 pounds or something like that. So on all fronts, that just a terrible excuse to say why you got TKO'd in a fight. The third excuse was tainted water or something. He literally thought USADA was against him. He literally thought the commission was against him. And it's just ridiculous. He's just grasping at straws at that point. His fourth excuse was that Tyson Fury had loaded gloves. Now that's just crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Because how could you get away with that? There is no way that Tyson Fury had loaded gloves for that fight. Especially when Deontay Wilder was the A side. Tyson Fury wasn't the A side. Deontay Wilder was the A side. So it's just completely embarrassing that Deontay Wilder would use this as an excuse. And all the excuses he used were just terrible. You know, take your L, bro. Take your L. And then in the third fight between them two, where Deontay Wilder got just straight up knocked out, he still wouldn't shake Tyson Fury's hand after the fight and still considered him to be a cheater. Just so disgraceful, so disrespectful, and just not man enough to just accept your loss and accept that you were probably wrong about him cheating. You know, because he knocked you out clean in the third fight. He didn't knock you out clean in the second fight. So did you think he cheated for the third fight as well? The third fight, he ran out of excuses. And at that point, he just didn't want to be a man anymore and just shake that man's hand and say, good game. For an American heavyweight champion to be like that, to have that kind of demeanor, absolutely disgraceful, absolutely terrible. And before the Robert Helenius fight, Deontay Wilder went on the Breakfast Club and declared that he wanted a body on his record, meaning that he wanted to somebody in the ring. That's one of the most horrible things that a professional, in general, a professional athlete could ever say, that he wants to somebody in the midst of the activity, in the midst of a game or a match. That should be absolutely unacceptable. I think the Joseph Parker fight with him losing, I think that was like the final nail in the coffin. I don't know where Deontay Wilder goes from here. In my opinion, and I think a lot of people's opinion, Deontay Wilder is the most disgraceful American heavyweight champion ever. But to be fair to him, and I want to end this on a good note, because it's one of the biggest what-ifs in boxing. Now, Deontay Wilder, he started boxing when he was in his 20s, I think at 20. If he had started at, let's say he would have started at the age Mayweather started, like 7 years old. Let's say he started early like Canelo Alvarez, like when Canelo Alvarez went pro at 15. If Deontay Wilder had started his boxing career at an earlier age when he was younger, it's a good chance he might have been like a top 5 ever heavyweight champion. I think Deontay Wilder should retire. I think he should hang it up. Really incredible that he went as far as he did with the lack of skills that he had. Because of Deontay Wilder's attitude, because of his inability to just accept the loss and his many excuses, I have to call Deontay Wilder the most disgraceful American heavyweight champion ever. Y'all know the vibes. It's Dolo Ren, producer of the Productive Conversations podcast, and now covering boxing and MMA content for the platform. We're on YouTube, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on Instagram, TikTok, everywhere. Go follow, like, share, subscribe, all of that stuff. And I guess I'll catch y'all on the next one. Peace.